Hi guys, welcome back to my channel Lush Foliage. In today's video, we are going to be talking about this absolutely beautiful alocasia called as Alocasia Sarian. Now, a lot of people say that this is a hybrid between two different alocasias, but also there are some articles that this is a natural species that is native to Philippines. Basically, it is a natural growing variety of alocasia that was found by an agriculturist whose name is Sarian. So that's why it gets the name as Alocasia Sarian. Now, this plant also has this petiole which looks very similar to our zebrina. There is an Alocasia zebrina which also has these stripes on the petiole, and even our Sarian also has this petiole, so it looks very similar to that. Initially I thought this is Alocasia zebrina, but it is a different species, though they both have the same stripes on the petiole. Talking about the soil mix, I have used a mix of coco peat, garden soil and sand. Coco peat because this plant prefers a slight even moisture in the soil but not soggy wet. That's why we're using sand so that the excess water can drain out. The garden soil is going to give the basic nutrients to this plant. We have to maintain a slight amount of moisture. This plant is not drought tolerant. Now here, as you can see, my soil is already dry, so I can go ahead and do a complete watering. Always water the plant completely until the water starts passing through the drain hole, and then when you tend to see around 1 to 2 inches of the upper layer of soil is dry, go ahead and do another watering. And here, as you can see, my soil mix is very loose, porous and well draining. You can see immediately the water has started to pass through the drain hole, and this is how we need to have a soil mix which is very loose. Never have a very compact soil mix because that will damage the plant. Talking about the light, please don't offer direct sunlight. They prefer indirect but bright light. You can grow it indoor, you can grow it outdoor, but ensure that the plant does not come in contact with direct sunlight, otherwise that will damage the leaves. You can keep it under a green shade cloth, or you can offer filtered light. That is going to work out really well. If you're growing it indoor, ensure you're keeping it in a very bright spot where it receives a good amount of indirect bright light without the sun rays directly falling onto the leaves. Do not keep the plant under the air conditioning vent or the heater because that will definitely damage the plant. Now, talking about temperature and humidity, the plant will do well. These plants are basically tropical plants. They prefer a warmer environment. So anywhere between 15 degrees Celsius up to 34-35 degrees Celsius will do quite well. And a humidity of anywhere above 60% is going to work out really well for the plant. These plants are not cold hardy or frost hardy, so ensure that in case if you're from a place wherein you receive snowfall or frost, move this plant indoor. Most probably, if the winters are very intense, the plant will drop all its leaves and only the tuber or the bulb will remain into the soil. So this is something that you have to keep in mind. These are basically tropical plants. They cannot handle too much of cold or cooler temperature. Now, talking about pest issues, yes, this plant does get affected with spider mites mostly. So always turn the leaves and check. If you happen to notice even a tiny little infestation, take care of it at the early stage. Don't wait for the last minute. You can go with any organic solution. You can even sprinkle some dry cinnamon powder on the upper layer of soil. That is also going to work out. Talking about propagation, this plant can be easily propagated via shoots. The plant tends to put out new shoots as and when it starts to grow. So whenever you tend to see that, you can separate it with the root division. Basically, you'll have to take out the plant and do a division. Now, talking about overall experience, I think this plant is much easier as compared to other alocasias. Alocasias can be very tricky because it all depends upon the environment and climate. Also maintaining a slight amount of moisture. As I said, these are not drought tolerant plant. They can easily get damaged if you do an excessive underwatering. You basically need to strike a balance between your watering. Not too much, not too less. You need to maintain that slight amount of moisture, and that is going to work out really well. As I said, a lot depends upon your environment. If you have a warmer environment, it is going to do quite well. I have placed mine in indirect bright light. It has been doing quite well. There has been a new leaf that is coming up ever since I got. This is still in a very juvenile form. The leaves will grow probably 3 to 4 times bigger than this. This is still a very small plant. So it's a very easy to grow plant. As I said, compared to other alocasias like Poly and Amazonia, this is much easier. So if you're looking out for a beautiful alocasia, then this is one of the alocasia you can add in your collection. Fertilizers, I would say you can add fertilizers. It's not a very heavy feeding plant. You can add fertilizers during the summer season, which is their growing period. Please do not add any fertilizers during the winter season. The plant will get burnt because that is when the plant tends to go dormant. So if you're looking out to adding any fertilizers, go with a very weak strength liquid fertilizer. You can do it once a month during the summers, and that is going to work out really well. So guys, that's all about it. I hope that this video was helpful to you. If it was, please hit the like button, and if you're new to my channel, please consider subscribing to it. Until then, take care, stay safe, and keep planting.